What is happening, guys? Happy Wednesday. That's right, in season. Happy Wednesday, and welcome to the Dynasty WarZone, the People's Dynasty podcast. On today's show, we're going to give you all of the biggest takeaways from a Dynasty perspective from week one. And with me, again, back from, I don't want to say back from the dead, but back from an extended sickness. He is, in fact, my co-host. He is none other than the man of the hour and the man with the power, Jerry Sinclair, buddy. How are you?
I am wonderful. Back from being a whiner. I don't know if you know this, but I am a male, and whenever we are sick, we just cry and cry and cry and bitch and moan about everything, which is exactly what I did. And luckily, Randy was wonderful enough to do the show by himself. Props to you. I watched it while I was going to work the next day. That's a tough thing to do, to just ramble for 47 minutes or whatever it is. You did a good job. Luckily, it was hot takes, so if there was ever a time where you were going to ramble, also, a magnificent fast draft rant while we are on it.
You know, I know I've done something good when I get the Jerry text the next day.
Because, I am the person that tends to swear. I am the trashier of the two of us, so it happens. So when I heard that, I was driving into work and I was laughing. So I appreciated it. I appreciate you covering for me. It was a good show. It was entertaining. Love a good rant.
I appreciate it. I do more research. I do research, but like you're a great co-host and you'll throw something out there and I'll immediately, while you're talking, I'll throw something in Chat GPT. I'll go to ESPN. Fuck ESPN while I'm on that subject. And I'll be able to do little nuggets of research. But when I don't have that break to be able to throw it to you, it just wears me out. But I've got a little story. I'm going to get it out of the way early. And then we're going to go into an ad. Don't worry. I'll set it up so you can fast forward so you don't have to cry. But I'm an old school MMA fan, right? Chael Sonnen. I'm actually wearing an MMA shirt right now, gym in Cincinnati. I'm an old school fan, right? And Chael Sonnen's quite the character. If you've ever followed Chael Sonnen, he is one of the funniest people in any sport ever, right?
True.
I love Uncle Chael. Well, one time of the several times that he got caught using performance-enhancing drugs, he got a call from the California State Athletic Commission, and they said, Chael, your testosterone is double that of a normal man. He said, it sounds low, test it again. So anyway, I love Chael. He's got a bunch of funny sayings. Sunday, I had to work at the Colts game. I'm doing what I call a transition of power where I'm handing off the fundraising responsibilities for our baseball organization to a different set of parents. But, you got to do the right thing. You got to do that handoff. Long story short, my wife went up to visit her mom and dad. She had a great day. She came back. She talked about how she has one of those watches that measures your stress, right? She's like, I've had such a good day. She's like, I have a +2 body battery. Whatever in the hell that means. Well, of course, I do what I do. And we're walking. We're going for our evening walk after dinner. She's like, I've been around you for an hour and a half. And my watch says I'm moderately stressed. I looked her dead in the eye and goes, sounds low. Check it again. That's how I am, Jerry. Those are the things that I do. Those are the things that I do.
Bless her sweetheart. I'm not surprised. I'm surprised she has any hair left, if we're going to be honest.
Oh, dude, she kicks my ass. But, people who complain about fast drafts, let's get back to that real quick. I talked about my stack. Guess which teams are doing really good? Any team where I got the turn in the rabbit and I stacked, and I did this a bunch. Derrick Henry, Jonathan Taylor. How you think those teams are working out, Jerry?
They're cooking.
You know what the best part is on a couple of those builds? I was kind of lamenting the fact that I didn't get Tyreek Hill because I really wanted Tyreek Hill. Yeah. After Tyreek Hill shit the bed
he did.
This past week, and man, we're going to do good people, bad tweets here in just a second. But if I could remember who tweeted it, I would have been all over it from a good people, great tweets. And it was like Tyreek Hill is following the CTE playbook to a T. And I was just like, you're kind of right. He is going down the Antonio Brown rabbit hole. But speaking of rabbit and fast draft, if your fantasy team's already in the shitter, your dynasty team sucks, your best ball team is pooped because of injuries or underperformance, you can still get in on Quick Six.
Pour one out for an incredible best ball season. It was a breakout 2025 for Fast Draft, but now the NFL action has started. That means it's DFS season. That's right. You might think, oh, wow, DFS, I can't win DFS. Oh, but you can on Fast Draft. You just pick any 6 guys, and you put them in a handful of booster spots. There's no salary rubric you have to follow. You're not going up against thousands of killer bots in these tournaments. No. These are regular people grabbing their 6 favorite plays of the week, and that's all you have to do. And we post the ownership so that you can choose how much chalk you want. There is no drafting. It's called the Quick Six Super Slam. The Quick Six Super Slam is the signature DFS contest at Fast Draft. It is changing DFS. We are making DFS great again. So go to fastdraft.app and use your host promo code for a $50 deposit match. And let's go start drafting faster.
Yeah, let's go start drafting faster over at Fast Draft. You can't beat the Podfather. Great ad read and great program. By the way, I will be doing Quick Six this weekend as I'm going to Cincinnati to visit the boy. So I will be in the Quick Six streets and definitely looking forward to that. All right, Jerry, I got a good people, bad tweets. You know, it's hard to do good people, bad tweets when you're not around, buddy.
I appreciate that.
Well, and I've got to tread lightly. I've got to tread lightly because I don't, the enemy of my enemy is my friend, right?
That's true.
Well, then conversely, wouldn't the friend of your friend be your friend?
Yes.
In theory.
I'm confused, but yes.
Yes, but so Scott Barrett works with our old pal Theo.
Yeah.
Theo Grimminger. And he tweeted on Monday with a picture, a meme, or whatever you want to call it. He's like, me in 2021, is it time to have the Trevor Lawrence conversation yet? Me in 2022, is it time to have the Trevor Lawrence conversation yet? Me in 2023, is it time to have the Trevor Lawrence conversation yet? Me in 2024, is it time to have the Trevor conversation yet? And then he also added, me in 2025, is it time to have the Trevor Lawrence conversation yet? And I was like, I knew where this was going. Trevor Lawrence looked fine on Sunday. They got up early. They blew the doors off of the Carolina Panthers. They had a weather delay. And, I mean, to me, that is pure box score analysis. Pure box score analysis. Oh, my God. And I was like, bad weather game. They were up big, and they cruised to a win. I was like, he might as well have said, Lawrence didn't get BTJ the ball enough yesterday, which hurt my bullish preseason take on Brian Thomas Jr. And then before I throw it to you, the next day he tweeted Brian Thomas Jr. was the only player in week 1 to have a catchable target rate of below 55%. He saw 4 targets past the sticks. None of those were on target per fantasy points data. Charters.
Was
okay.
A hurricane?
Again, he didn't get his Brian Thomas points, so therefore Trevor Lawrence is a problem. Now, I just shared with Jerry on our Patreon podcast why I'm bullish on the Jaguars. What are your take as it relates to Trevor Lawrence and how we need to have the conversation?
Listen, if you want to, brother, you can save that tweet. And if in a month it is still continuing to do what you want to do, by all means, hit send. You can retweet it. You can get all the interactions you want. He was fine. They did everything they needed to do to win. Travis Etienne gutted that team. Absolutely pulled it out, dropped his hammer on the table, and let him know who daddy was. That was all they really needed to do. And a whole bunch of screen passes to Travis Hunter, apparently. But it's fine. Yes, I have a lot of Brian Thomas Jr. I was salty about it as well, my friend. And if you wanted to tweet that in all of the other years about Trevor Lawrence, hallelujah. Preach to it.
This is a conversation you need to have with yourself. You know that Trevor Lawrence just signed a 5-year, $250 million. That's with a B.
Ain't going
$250 million contract. If you invested in Brian Thomas Jr., you don't get to complain about Trevor Lawrence.
Nah.
Mac Jones, and I've seen all the stats and all the little carryovers, and that Brian Thomas Jr. didn't break out until Mac Jones became the quarterback. Mac Jones ain't walking through that door. You know who the backup is now? It's Nick Mullen. So you did this to you. You need to have a conversation with yourself about not drafting guys if you don't like the quarterback. Here's the thing. What Aaron Rodgers say several years ago? Relax. Just relax. It's gonna be fine. It was one game. It was one game. If anything, as a Brian Thomas Jr. fan myself, I take solace in the fact that Travis Hunter looked very, very capable on the other side. Brenton Strange went 4 for 4 and had a nice little game as a tight end. Brian Thomas Jr. will get his. So don't get your panties in a little knot.
I mean, Travis Etienne caught a couple passes too.
And again, he only threw the ball, 30 times. And again, in a game they were winning, there was no need to throw the ball a bunch. At one point, I think with the lightning delay hit, they were up 20-3 midway through the third. What did you expect them to do? Come and air it out? That's not good football. That's not good football. You're going to have plenty of shootouts. You're going to have plenty of shootouts. Relax.
And there will be plenty of times to hate all of the quarterbacks in the league at some point. I'm sure I said some horrible things about J.J. McCarthy when he threw a pick six. And I said some horrible things about Caleb Williams. And I said a whole hell of a lot of horrible things about Jared Goff on Sunday. It'll happen. Brother, if you want to hate Trevor Lawrence,
they don't call him the best setup man in the business. That was good people, bad tweets. When we do good people, bad tweets, as well as I do, you got to hear from Dana. I want to be kind because, again, Scott is Theo's friend. Theo is our friend. So, therefore, Scott by proxy.
I think Scott, he was in my division.
He very well could have been. So, I'm going to go with one that's more humorous than mean.
Federal prison. Federal fucking prison. If you're that fucking stupid and somebody else wants to do it, knock yourself out. There's not enough money in it.
Yeah. I'm not fading any of the Jaguars wide receivers. But Jerry, you mentioned Jared Goff, and that might have been your takeaway. What was your big takeaway from the weekend? Are you going right to the Lions? What was your big takeaway?
No. I mean, that was the most painful thing that occurred because you go in and you listen to all the hype about the Packers and you think you have Penei Sewell. You don't give a crap if Micah Parsons goes into Green Bay because you're going to truck them like you have the last 3 years in Lambeau. And then we got absolutely pooped on. So that sucked. But no, we are a Dynasty show, so I'm not just going to rain my tears down upon all of you. My number one takeaway is another Jaguar. Because we are going to talk about a man who you have all casted off, who you have all hated and pooped on and wanted to replace over and over and over again because he had a pretty bad season last year. Travis Etienne. This man had 16 carries for 143 yards and another 3 catches for 13 yards. Brother, he's got that backfield. You're talking about a dude who's had multiple 1,400-yard seasons. He's still young. He's still on that first contract. And now he's just showing you that he is absolutely the guy. Oh, Tank Bigsby. Tank Bigsby's gone. Everybody wants to talk about Tootin', right? You always got to pick that middle-round rookie running back that Joe Schmo scouted and thinks is awesome. And then no matter which team he ends up on, they think is going to be awesome. Randy, you got the box scores up right now?
All right, sir, I do. What can I do you? What can I do you for?
What did Tootin do for me?
Rootin', tootin', shootin', 3 for 11,
Oh, real
and
good.
and the 0 in the passing game. LaQuint Allen Jr., LAJ on the street. LaQuint Allen Jr., 1 catch for 4 yards. He has many catches as Brian Thomas Jr. Wasn't a great day for the juniors, except Travis Etienne Jr., who went 3 for 13 in the passing game. Oh, and then the running backs. So, I mean, are you hoping that your new Lord and Savior Bashil Tootin is going to get those 5 carries that Tank Bigsby left behind? Because it went Etienne 16, Bigsby 5, Tootin 3. Okay. But maybe LaQuint Allen gets the 3 and Tootin goes to the 5. It's we do this too much in Dynasty.
Regardless, it doesn't matter.
Go ahead.
They are never, ever going to go into your starting lineup, and they're never going to matter because it's Travis Etienne.
You're wish casting, and it's weird. It's super weird because these running backs that come into the league with a high what's the word I'm looking for here? Like a high name cachet coming over from the NCAA, especially when they play on big Power 5, now Power 4 teams. It's like they usually get a long leash and a lot of love. And all of a sudden, Travis Etienne is no longer in that club. You know, I think people like DeAndre Swift more than they like Travis Etienne. The Travis Etienne fatigue has just it's strange to me. It's absolutely strange. The only way that Tootin or LaQuint Allen or anyone else is taking the reins, and here's the thing, you already tried to sell me on Tank Bigsby. All Howie Roseman had to do was pick up the phone and say, yeah, we'll give you a bag of footballs and, you know, season tickets to the Eagles games. And they traded him for nothing. This is Travis Etienne's team. I am surprised that he has not gotten an extension, a la something we've seen with Kyron Williams or with James Cook in Buffalo, but he's the most talented running back on the team, and he's not going anywhere. I like that call, Jerry. You know what my biggest takeaway is? My biggest takeaway comes from one of our original patrons, maybe even patron number 1. It's Dr. Kyle. More than a patron, he is a friend. I've gotten to know Kyle on a personal level outside of Dynasty Fantasy Football, but in our patron group chat over the weekend, people were like, are we concerned? And I don't remember which of the games it was, but it got me thinking. He was like, no, it's a divisional game and not too worried about it. And then it's like as if when Kyle said it, as if the heavens opened up, and as I was driving to work, I was listening to a non-dynasty or non-fantasy podcast, and they were talking about how these teams knew each other. And like between what Kyle said in the group chat and what this podcast said, it all made sense. Jerry, who outside of the Browns, Ravens, and Steelers know the Bengals better than any other team? It's their division.
Yeah.
Who do you play twice a year? Who do you know inside and out? And we saw that with the Cowboys and the Eagles. We saw that with the Giants and the Commanders. And I know that score is a little bit lopsided because it was 21-6, but it was a 1-score game in the fourth quarter. It was 14-6. The Commanders got the late score, made it unattainable, but that was a close game. Chiefs and the Chargers, Bears and the Vikings. These divisional games should not concern you. It should not concern you for Joe Burrow. It should not concern you for Jamar Chase. It really even shouldn't concern you for Caleb Williams, although kinda. I'm worried about Caleb Williams. Like I said this, like if he holds on to the ball too long, Caleb's going to be a problem. And guess what he did? The first, like the first 15 to 20 plays of a game, Jerry, are scripted.
True.
They go over them. Everybody knows them. First 15 plays, 20 plays, he was 10 for 11 passing. After that, he was 11 for 24. Horrible. I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. Division game. And Brian Flores, as a defensive coordinator, is a son of a bitch to go against. But I'm going to take what Dr. Kyle put in my ear. The podcast drove it home. Don't get too worried about with players underperforming in divisional matchups. Did you have another takeaway, or do you want to go into some right and wrong?
I mean, we can do right and wrong.
All right. Well, I'm going to give you first crack at it. Give me something that you were right or wrong about coming off of our preseason, the whole offseason takes.
There is absolutely only one person that I could talk about in this moment, and it is a miss, Randall, because I have gotten onto this podcast and I have said a plethora of angry, mean, and what I have found out to be incorrect things about one Bill McCroskey. Listen, I don't believe in the man.
I'm using my line item veto power. I am not letting you take this L yet.
It's an L after week one. I'm not saying it's not you need to sell this man and he's not going to be super reliable. But for week one, as a rookie, 10 carries, 82 yards, and a touchdown, that's a whole hell of a lot better than what I thought he was going to do.
I'm fine with that. But he had one carry for 42 yards, which is great. Which is great. But you know what? Outside of that, it was 9 for 40. Throw a party. He bailed you out with a touchdown. He bailed you out with a touchdown. He had 0 catches for 0 yards on 0 targets.
I agree.
And you're not going to be kicking up. But you know what Austin Eckler had? 3 for 31. You know what?
He's always going to get that.
Jerry, if he doesn't fall in the end zone, if he does not fall in the end zone, we're not having this conversation. But we have to because we have to respect the touchdown.
10 for 82 is good. Like I'm not saying this guy is
okay. And when they play the Packers tomorrow night, and they're not blowing out a shitty Giants team,
yeah,
you think Bill's getting 10 for 82?
No, I don't.
Okay, neither do I, buddy. Neither do I.
But it was still exponentially better than I thought he was going to do. I thought the man was going to be irrelevant. He clearly is not irrelevant.
He's clearly who he is.
I still think you trade that man for a second 95 out of 100 times, and I still think it'll profit. But
speaking of one of our patrons, Cameron, usually in the chat, I don't, he might be working or something. Cameron traded him for a 27 first. You kidding me?
He got a first?
A 2027 first. The vaunted class of 2027. I was like, that's money in the bank. I mean, he's getting 0 high leverage targets. I mean, carries. He's not getting the receptions. So if you're looking for a guy who can grind it between the tackles when the team's up big, like I said, throw a party. But I am not letting you take this L. I am not letting you take this L on Bill. You know what? If we're having this conversation and he continues this by like weeks 4 or 5, then I'll take this fucking L right there with you. I will take the L right there with you. But no. I am not letting you take this L for that take. I could let you take a lot of L's, and there'll be other L's for you to take. But no, sir. You are not taking this one, but I have to take one, and I think you may take it right alongside with me. And I'll let you help. Emeka Egbuka. I was like, he looks like JSN with less juice. And again, just like Bill, I'm not overreacting to the touchdowns. Guy just looks good.
He looked good.
And what means more to me, and I hope what would mean more to you guys, and I hope that, and first of all, thank you to everybody watching, listening. You guys are awesome. But guys, look at what actual not ESPN, never ESPN, never Dan Orlovsky, never Ryan Clark, never Stephen A. But look at like what sensible people actually say about him. And all I've ever heard the entire off season, and I started biting my fingernails, but I have beautiful fingernails. I take great care. Personal hygiene's a thing. And I just kept hearing people say, dude, this kid's a pro. This kid's legit. It's Baker saying it. It's the coaching staff saying it. It's ex-players that are common sense saying it. Emeka Egbuka is that dude. And one of our, again, I'm not trying to make this a sales pitch for the Patreon, but it's all where the conversation comes from. JC reached out to me and he's got a rebuild. And he had a guy offering Marvin Harrison Jr., a 26 first and a 27 first for Jamar Chase. And he was like, what do you think? And I was like, if you value Marvin Harrison Jr. as a first, then I'll take 3 firsts for just about anybody in a 1 QB league. It's just business.
Agreed.
But he sent me a picture because that's part of being a patron, is I will help you with trades, questions, blah, blah, blah. And he sent me a picture, and the guy on his roster had Emeka Egbuka. I was like, see if he'll give you Egbuka instead of Marvin Harrison Jr., those 2 firsts, and it'll be sold. I was like, yeah, you're going to get a significant, probably 4 or so points a game less out of Emeka Egbuka this year. But that's okay. When your team's ready to compete again, because he's going to be starting to rebuild, I was like, you're going to have Egbuka going into year 3 as opposed to Jamar Chase going into year 7. And you're going to have those 2 firsts. And 2026 is going to be a good quarterback class, which this wasn't a super flex. And in 2027, you're going to have the 2 wide receivers. So you're going to have the firepower. And he and I talked about it. It's like you could trade one of those 2026 firsts that you have for additional 2027s. So you have more lottery tickets at Ryan Williams and Jeremiah Smith from Ohio State. There are things that you can do. But what do you think about my Egbuka take, and what do you think about my advice on that trade?
I mean, dude was an animal. I started him in a league. A team I'm not very good, and I plugged him in and got the tutties, so I appreciated that. If we're gonna I just want to talk about somebody else that I was wrong about, and it's a person that I find just near and dear to my heart. Former Michigan State Spartan, Seattle Seahawk running back Kenneth Walker, Randy. 10 carries for 20 yards, 3 catches for 4 yards. He got 13 touches for 24 yards. Zach Charbonnet looked better, and I don't think Zach Charbonnet is very good, and that is not a good sign. So you're hoping that it is injury related, and you are hoping that he can recover at some point, but you have to have absolutely zero confidence in Kenneth Walker right now if you have him on your team. You can't sell him also because everybody else can see that, and nobody is going to be excited about it. So you can really only hold and hope. And that's what we have to do.
For me, it's more about that juice. And the problem with a lot of injuries, now, like for any football player, obviously with receivers, the shoulders, the hands, whatever, that would be a problem. But for a football player, the more injuries and issues you have with your lower body, eventually the playmaking ability goes away. You can get away with it for a while, but like Christian McCaffrey, it's like he's a volume guy. He's not razzle-dazzling them out there, and I don't think he'll make it the entire season. But no, I do agree. The one thing I would tell you to hang your hat on as a fan of Kenneth Walker, fellow Spartan dog, is he was the only running back to get a catch. He had 3 for 4. Wasn't great, but they were playing a really good defense. And again, it was one of those divisional games. I would say if it's a trend that persists long term, I'll go with it. But I want to go with one. I want to go with a hit, with a positive, Jerry. Now, how positive would you like me to be on a Colt? Because I am a fan. I was at the game. By the way, the stand that we work at, you walk right out there, you're on the 50-yard line. Like you go out to pee or like whatever, like down the aisle. You walk out and just take a quick gander to the left. You were like at the upper level, but you were just right down at the 50-yard line. It was a thing of beauty. But so how much traction do I get from you as a Colts fan before I give you this next take?
It just give me what you got.
Dude, I love Tyler Warren. I was excited at the draft. I think I'm now calling Ryan Poles Ryan Grigson Poles. If you don't know, Ryan Grigson was the absolutely terrible general manager for the Colts before Chris Ballard. So I'm now calling him Ryan Grigson Poles. as if that's his middle name, or maybe we can hyphenate it. We can call him Ryan Grigson -Poles, whatever way you want to go with it. I cannot thank him enough for taking Colston Loveland over Tyler Warren.
Fair.
From a physical standpoint, Jerry, do you remember who I compared Tyler Warren to physically when we were going through the rookie process? From a height and weight standpoint, do you remember?
I don't off the top of my head.
Rob Gronkowski. And do you know who Tyler Warren kind of looked like on Sunday out there on that field? Rob Gronkowski. And you know what made me really happy more than anything else? The 7 for 76, of course. Great rookie debut. Actually leads all rookie pass catchers in this class with receiving yards in week 1. How about that for a stat? Old Tyler Warren. He was crushing people in the run blocking game. Absolutely getting to the second level and carrying linebackers backwards. I'm stoked for this kid. If he can play with that, and Gronk seems like a fun-loving guy. Like if you were on South Beach, is there anyone else that you'd rather hang out with than like a Rob Gronkowski? Have a couple of beers, hang out with Robbie.
He's a bros bro.
But when he played football, he played with a mean streak. Is that fair to say? He played with a mean streak at times. And dude, if I continue to see Tyler Warren do that, it's like, how high do you have him in your dynasty rankings right now today? Is he ahead of Laporta? Might be tough for you because you're a Lions fan.
Probably not, but it's close. I mean, he's right there. I mean, so where does that put him? 4 or 5?
All right, well, hit me with the Jerry Sinclair. I wasn't expecting to do this impromptu tight end rankings. I mean, I think you got to go Bowers 1, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I accept that.
Go McBride 2.
Oh, and let me ask you this: what if it's half PPR? What if it's half point PPR? Because McBride feasts on the catches, which God bless him. I'm 80% of my leagues are PPR, so I don't have any problem. And most of my leagues are actually tied in premium at a 1.75 clip, so I don't have any problem with Tyler. Excuse me, with Trey McBride there. But you're still going Sam Laporta 3.
I don't know. I mean, it's a toss-up.
I'm not trying to talk you out of it. I
still probably am. I mean, Sam Laporta had a good game too.
6 for 79.
Yeah, I mean, and I've seen it, so still probably him. But
you're splitting hairs at that point.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because then you got George Kittle, and that's just a question of whether you want to take an old man.
Oh, I've been as big of a fan on George Kittle as anybody.
I know
in this space,
but we got 4 weeks off too that he's got with his injury, so it's tough.
He's on the IR, dude. You're not seeing him until at least week 6.
Yeah,
he's going to be out 2 through 5, and then TBD.
Season age 31. So
tough
sledding.
I would say this: if you wanted to take Tyler Warren over Laporta, I don't have a problem with it. Because I don't have a lot of faith in Goff or this new offensive coordinator Johnny Morton.
Don't be a hateful bastard.
I'm just being honest. I'm just keeping it 100 with you, and I'm not sold on Kyler Murray except for like Trey McBride. He's gonna feed Trey McBride. That dude. I know Marvin had the touchdown the other day, but he only had 6 targets compared to Trey's like 9. It's the Trey McBride show. Everybody else is just along for the ride, Jerry. So, but dude, Tyler Warren is going to be in there. But I will say this, and I'll take like a mini wrong before we go to our next commercial break. It looks like it's coming at the expense of Josh Downs. And you've known me for a while. I've been very bullish on Josh Downs. It's 1 week, but to me, it looks to be the Pittman Warren show in the passing game. And and before we go to the commercial, I will take a mini right in that DJ Giddens is solidly locked in as the RB2 in Indianapolis. And I told Jerry this on the patron portion of the podcast. Try saying that fast. Is that I love that Shane Steichen did not run Jonathan Taylor into the ground in a game where they were blowing out the Miami Dolphins. Give the rookie some run. Jonathan Taylor doesn't need 24 touches in the rushing game, in a game that doesn't matter. You know, if that had been Kyle Shanahan, he just slammed Jonathan Taylor through the A gap about 6 more times so he can get the shit beat out of him in a week 1 blowout. But God bless Shane Steichen. He's given my boy DJ Giddens some run. He's given my boy Jonathan Taylor a breather so that I can win fast draft. And I'm going to go right back to the fast draft. Well, let's talk about Flex 6.
I know your sad draft season is over, but just because the NFL season starts doesn't mean the drafting stops, because Fast Draft has the Flex 6 frenzy. You're drafting 6 guys for the Sunday slate against 9 other competitors. It's fast, it's furious, it's fun, and as with everything on Fast Draft, there are no salaries. Woo! So go to draftfaster.com, get the app, use your host promo code for a $50 deposit match. Now let's go start drafting faster.
Jerry, my man, you need to go out, start drafting faster. Iowa's going to be legal at some point. Right now, you can.
I was always behind the times. Have you seen their offenses play college football, brother? They haven't learned about the pass yet,
sir. You're just stuck eating corn the long way. Give us something you were right about.
Chase Brown. Listen, Chase Brown people, right? Everybody got super mad when they cut my little short where I talked crap about Chase Brown. And then all the comments on YouTube decided to say that I was a bozo, which may be true. Not about Chase Brown. Chase Brown, 100% going to be the guy. He got 21 carries. He's absolutely going to be the guy that is going to get all of the work, and he did 21 carries for 43 yards. Luckily for you, he stumbled into the end zone, so you squeaked out 10.3 points out of him. But no catches. 21 carries for 43 yards. I mean, if you're worried about Kenneth Walker, that's the same yards per carry as Kenneth Walker. And that's yucky. And he's injured. Chase Brown not injured. Chase Brown younger. I'm just saying. He's fine if you're playing in a redraft league. But brothers and sisters, we do a Dynasty podcast, and when I talk about players, I do it in the Dynasty sense. Chase Brown is a sell. And I said Chase Brown was a sell. And I got a whole bunch of vitriolic comments about me saying he is a sell, and that boy came out there and did absolutely nothing for you. Except for fall into the end zone. Which is great. And hopefully he does that for you all the time. But nothing about what that man showed you said, I'm going to be in the league and I'm going to be valuable for a long time. No.
21 of 43. I'm sorry, 21 attempts for 43 yards.
At least he got the 21 carries. Like that's nice. If you said, I got 21 carries and I got a touchdown, you're going to win me my week. Oh, you got 43 yards? Brother.
Let me hit you with another takeaway that was a hit. It's recycled quarterbacks. Recycled quarterbacks, Jerry. You gave me my props on this a while back, right? You gave me my props as it's like, it's Sam Darnold, and we could talk about Daniel Jones, but I don't want to keep rehashing old topics. But what about Justin Fields? And I had this conversation. I had this conversation with a workmate today. And what do Daniel Jones and Justin Fields have in common?
What is that?
They're both like athletic quarterbacks. And Justin Fields is really athletic and Daniel Jones is sneaky athletic. But if you think of every good team in the league, right? Baltimore, what do they have? They have an athletic quarterback who can run and Derrick Henry. It's a pretty good combo, right?
It is.
Josh Allen. I know a lot of people don't love James Cook, but James Cook's been a very good running back for them. You got a quarterback who can run. You got a running back who can run. How about the Eagles, defending Super Bowl champion? Jalen Hurts can run, right? Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And who's his running back?
Mr. Barkley.
Oh, okay. I was just checking. Daniel Jones, sneaky rusher of the football. Actually rushed, I think it was 7 times. He didn't have to rush a bunch because they were winning, which again, he did take on a linebacker that just felt unnecessary the other day. Who's his running back?
JT.
And then Justin Fields had a career QBR game. the other day. And who's his running back?
Mr. Brees.
Huh.
We're gonna
Huh.
talk about Brees.
Huh. What do you know? So when you have these guys, when you have these super athletic guys and they get paired up with a really good offensive play caller, and then they have the stack of the really good running back, invest in those guys. Simply invest in those guys. Now, does it always translate to wins? I don't know. I know that the Jets didn't win, and I'm not getting super high on the Colts. Just like I won't be super low on them next week if they get beat by the best defense in the league, than the Denver Broncos. But for what we do for fantasy purposes, this is why, because think about it. Like if I had done a startup this year, which I did startups, and I got my first two quarterbacks. I know one league I got CJ Stroud and Drake May. You may have to pray for me. But my fourth quarterback on that team, it's Danny Dimes. It is Danny Dimes. So that is why you get those recycled quarterbacks. Because now I've got 4 quarterbacks in this league. I can make a trade in a super flex. I could pick up a running back. I could pick up a wide receiver.
Send CJ Stroud to the moon.
I need one good game and an Ohio State fan. That's what I need with CJ Stroud. We'll talk about CJ Stroud in a minute, but yeah, I'm going to take a little victory lap on recycled quarterbacks. When you're doing, and take that note, put that note in your phone. If you keep Dynasty notes on your phone, you should. If you're not, start. But put that in your notes. Hey, who is going to be in a new spot next year, and who can I recycle? So I'm going to take that as a mini win, Jerry.
I think it's a good one, honestly. I mean, it has played out time and time again to just take the one that everybody makes fun of. There's going to be a time that maybe Anthony Richardson shows up. Early draft capital. I mean, it's a little different because he's a mobile guy and we haven't seen tons, but we saw that with Justin Fields and he got recycled. So take a shot. You know who you never thought that it was, and it never was Trey Lance. So you knew that he did not fall into the criteria of Randall's recycled quarterbacks. He just stayed at the bottom of the trash with all the trash can water underneath the bag.
And I think Anthony Richardson will wind up in that conversation for me too.
Yeah, probably.
I mean, when you are dead last in passes of 0 to 10 yards in the league, you are the least accurate quarterback in the league. Those are the layups. Those are the bunnies. Those are the give-me's. And you can't get day one stuff. You can't get the day one install stuff. You can't get that. It's not ideal. It's Sam Darnold seeing ghosts, but he never had a good offensive play caller. It's Baker Mayfield. He was in Cleveland, literally the Indian burial ground of quarterbacks, although I think Chicago may want a word.
That's true.
They may want a word on that. Maybe they can have equal billing, one in the NFC, one in the AFC. It's brutal.
I honestly don't know who the next wave is going to be, but Danny Dimes.
I'm telling you, it may be Drake May. I am concerned about my boy Drake May. I am very. I mean, it's one game. It is one game, and Pete Carroll has always been a very good defensive coach. And the Raiders who was the best player on the field? Max Crosby, both sides of the ball. And I want to go to because we're going to start we're about 3/4 of the way through the show. I want to get to some trade targets, but since we brought up the Raiders game, can I ask you a question? This is not really a right or wrong, but it's a takeaway. How you feeling about old Ashton Genty right now?
Goodness gracious!
Your butt cheeks puckered up?
They have to be. And listen, this was another one of those where they cut our little segment, turned it into a short, and then all the comments were mean to us because you kicked out the possibility that Travion Henderson could be more valuable than Ashton Genty. And you said, if you took Travion Henderson over Ashton Genty, I wouldn't be mad at you. And the little lemmings came out of their little hidey holes in their caves and under their bridges, and they said a bunch of mean things, usually about the way I look, but also about some of the things that Randall said. And let me just say, Ashton Genty looked like crap. He bailed you out, but ew. Randy, you got the box score there? Give me it. I know it's like 19 for like 40 or something. Like it's something stupid.
Yeah, I'll find him in just he finished as RB24. He had 19 carries for 38 yards with a long of one. A long of one. I'm sorry, a long of he had one run for 19. I had that back. He had a long of 9.
What? That don't
He
add
had,
up.
he had a long rush of 9 yards. Okay, so you take that one out. That's 18 for 29.
Brother, you can keep the damn 9. You can keep the 19 for 38.
And where did New England finish last year in rushing yards allowed in the
Where is it
NFL?
at?
No, you tell me. What do you think? Where did New England finish?
I promise you, I did not watch one Indianapolis or
no one did.
New England Patriots game, but
No one
I'm going
has
to
since-
say 22.
They gave up the third most rushing yards in the league last year.
Yikes!
Where did they rank in fantasy points allowed?
Probably close to that.
4th. They gave up 20, and this is non-PPR. They gave up on average per game 21.1 PPR points to the running back position. Now, I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. I'm going to give him the fact that Mike Vrabel is a very good defensive coach. He said, this guy's not going to beat me. So I'm not going to say it's panic time on Ashton Genty. I'm just saying 19 for 38, 2 yards a carry against a horrible rush defense last year. It's not like they brought in Christian Wilkinson off of the waiver, or I'm going to chalk it up to the scheme. And they were willing to let Brock Bowers and Jacoby Myers beat them, and they were not going to let Ashton Genty. But I promise you right now, if this happens again this week, when they play the Chargers, I'm going to be concerned. The concern is going to grow.
Every team has to focus on Ashton Genty. Are they really going to be that worried about Geno Smith? Like, I know Geno Smith has had some pretty decent seasons. Everybody's going to focus on Ashton Genty, because if you don't focus on Ashton Genty, or if you do focus on Ashton Genty, all you have to worry about is Brock Bowers.
Well, we have a little bit of time left, and I want to transition to buys or trades. You can give me a guy you're trading away, a guy you're trading for. I'm going to roll right into mine because these things pair together like steak and a good wine. And I am buying Omarion Hampton. If you've got a nervous Nelly owner in your league, if they're out there, shitting their pants because they're concerned about Omarion Hampton, for me, it's the exact opposite. And that's where I got because I'm going to be consistent. I'm a lot of things, but consistent's one of them. And I went right to the stats. Pro Football Reference has a great thing where you can look at previous stats against positional groups. And last year versus the run, Jerry, where did the Kansas City Chiefs rank as a defense? They were defense what in yards against the run?
Pretty high, 6th.
They were 3rd. They were the 3rd toughest matchup in terms of rushing yards allowed. Now, people will say, well, my Memphis, the Chiefs were really good. They won 14 or 15 games. Yeah, and a lot of them were one-score games. They didn't win a bunch of blowouts. Their games were close, which means teams didn't abandon the run because they were playing the Chiefs. That doesn't hold water. Same question as I asked with Genty. Where did they rank in fantasy points per game allowed? They were 3rd in rushing yards, so that now you got to start factoring in receiving. Where did they rank?
I'm going to say 6th again.
They were the 2nd toughest matchup in fantasy, 12.1 PPR points a game. And it showed in the LA Chargers game plan. It showed in the game plan. If I'd have told you last Thursday morning or Friday morning, hey, Jerry, tonight in Greg Roman's offense, Jay Herbo going to drop back and he's going to chuck it 20 times in the first half. Oh, and Jim Harbaugh is still his head coach. You'd have told me I was full of shit. No way. He's going to pound it with Omarion Hampton. No, he came out and he pounded it with Jay Herbo. If Omarion Hampton's current GM in your league is nervous, go shake it. Hey, do you want your first back? I'll give you my 26 first for him. Here you go. And I'm telling you to do it before this weekend because the Raiders are not going to rough up the running game of the Chargers the way that the Chiefs did. And I like how they handled Travion Henderson. I'd like to see a little bit more Travion Henderson use. He looked like he had some juice in the passing game. I'm telling you right now, go get Omarion Hampton, Jerry. That's my buy. I'll give you a first. I'll give you like if you're not going to be competing for a while, maybe can we figure out something to where I get a pick and you get Breece Hall and I get Omarion Hampton? By the way, I'm going to throw it to you for your trade guy. A little side note where your boy Memphis was right. Which Cleveland running back did he tell you to go get? If you thought it was Quinshon Judkins, you're wrong. It was Dylan Sampson. Dylan Sampson, the number one scoring in fantasy points, the number one scoring rookie running back in fantasy points after week 1, Jerry.
Pretty good.
Suck on that, sucker.
Pretty good. I mean, this person, we've talked a lot about the Colts today. And this is a person that a couple of months ago.
Rightfully so, by the way.
That's true. A couple of months ago, you said this person was T. Higgins with a worse PR firm. And it's Michael Pittman. 6 catches, 80 yards, and a tutty. Now, I have long been a pessimist of T. Higgins, and I have acquired quite a bit of Michael Pittman, and he has disappointed me to an extent. But if Danny Dimes can even show a resemblance of what we saw in week 1, Michael Pittman gonna be a value for what you have to acquire him at, which was very, very late. Like if you did a redraft league or you did a startup, you took that man in like the 10th or the 11th round. And T. Higgins probably went in the 4th. And you know who outscored T. Higgins? Michael Pittman Jr. You know who has like identical stats to T. Higgins? Michael Pittman Jr. So why would you not take your T. Higgins and say, give me Michael Pittman Jr. and give me a little bit of some sprinkles on top? Because I can get the same exact production and the VIG.
Well, hey, well, first of all, I love you for saying it, and you're right. You're right. You're just rehashing a take that I said a long time ago. Let me break down the targets in this big win over the Dolphins of Miami. Michael Pittman, 8 targets. Tyler Warren, 9 targets. Alec Pierce, 3. Jonathan Taylor, 3. Adonai Mitchell, 2. Mo Alley-Cox, 1. Josh Downs, 3. You kind of see a target funnel in Indianapolis, and it runs through 2 guys. And I can pull it up real quick on Player Profiler, as I am a member over at Player Profiler, and I can log in. I can tell you where Michael Pittman is in rankings. What are you giving? What are you giving for Michael Pittman in Dynasty? What do you think you have to give today?
What do I think I have to give today? An early second. And I think that's a steal. I think he's probably worth about 110. If you want me to be honest, like that's what his production with his age, with his situation should entail, but he doesn't cost that much, which is why I like him so much. But like, because what would T. Higgins cost? T. Higgins would be a little bit more expensive than that, and he's the same. I think he's the same age too.
T. Higgins currently looks like wide receiver 13. There's a glitch in the matrix. It's probably my computer, but yeah, I'm going down. I'm trying to. I'm even Michael Pittman. He's in the 40s. Michael Pittman at 27.9 years old, not even 28, right at the absolute age apex of a wide receiver. He's behind almost 31-year-old Calvin Ridley. He's behind Keon. Tell me when you would take any of these players I'm getting ready to mention in a dynasty league over Michael Pittman. You ready?
Yeah.
It's kind of like The Price is Right with like the little yodeler going up the mountain, and you got to say, I'm glad you got that. Calvin Ridley.
No.
Keon Coleman.
I like Keon Coleman, but no.
Tyreek Hill.
No.
Diggs.
No.
Adams.
No.
Jaden Higgins.
No.
Cortland Sutton.
Yeah, probably.
Okay. Jacoby Myers.
No.
Jerry Jeudy.
I mean, I don't like to disrespect a fellow Jerry, but no, I would rather have Pittman.
Mike Evans.
Pittman.
Chris Godwin.
Pittman.
Khalil Shakir.
Yeah, I don't want him at all.
Your guy you graduated with, Jaden Reed.
Pittman.
Brandon Ayuk.
Pittman.
Ricky Pearsall.
Pittman.
Jawan
Even though
Jennings.
I've been wrong on Ricky Pearsall and he was a miss. But anyway, who you got?
Jawan Jennings.
Pittman.
Jordan Addison.
It's close, but Pittman.
Josh Downs. His teammate is honestly
I don't care about Josh Downs.
DK Metcalf.
DK.
All right, we're starting to get into some names. Jameson Williams.
Jameson.
Okay, Chris Olave.
It's close. That's
But my point for this, for everybody who tolerated all of that, is that these are all of the people that the dynasty industry, and I don't give a shit where I work because facts be facts. Player Profiler is the creme de la creme, the best of the best of dynasty fantasy rankings, and they have that many players ahead of Michael Pittman. I did that to illustrate the point that is the perception of Michael Pittman in the league right now. And I'm looking at it right now, and yeah, it looks like T. Higgins is right there in the mid-teens. Sold American. By the way, what's the age difference between T. Higgins and Michael Pittman Jr.? Because we're talking dynasty here. You got to factor in age.
A year.
1.3 years. And I get you get Joe Burrow, but you also get Jamar Chase, who gets the lion's share. So I love that. I think you're right. I think you could throw a second out there. And Tyler Warren's getting so much love right now, deservedly so. But Tyler Warren's getting so much love right now. And that was and Jerry, he got 8 targets in a game they won handily. What's he going to do when he plays a shootout with Houston? Or the game, some of the game, it's like, guys, we're talking about a player that when we look back at the end of the season will be in the neighborhood of 150 targets. And you can get, if I told you the start of your dynasty season, you could go get a player for a second that would get 150 targets and be the wide receiver 1 on his team. Would you do it?
Yeah.
I would. Danny, I don't have time to answer your question. Danny Hernandez, would I start Jawan Jennings or Njoku? I'm going to lean Njoku. I'm not following for the Harold Fanning magic. It could have been I know this.
Like him, though. Interesting.
I do too. I would say this week I would actually play Njoku because I would say I would start Njoku this week because that 49ers defense is still pretty damn good. And I don't know that Jawan Johnson from the Saints is going to do, because you got to remember there's Jawan Jennings and Jawan Johnson. Double J all over this place. Hey, Jerry, we got to get out of here, but I want to leave the people with a recommendation.
Well, yeah.
All right. I got a TV series. And I got a TV series in the vein of like an action movie. And it's the second series. The second season, excuse me. And if you have Amazon Prime, which you're a football fan, you probably got Amazon Prime, and you like a good action shoot 'em up type movie. The Terminal List Dark Wolf. Taylor Kitsch is the lead. Season 1 starred Chris Pratt of Star-Lord fame. Good show. And Jerry, do you know what I like about it? I like the form. Yes, Jerry. I like stuff blows up. I like guns. I like hot chicks. I'm an American male. Okay, that's what I like. Sue me, fucking sue me. But what I like is that they give you 1 episode a week. I love episodic television. I love that last week's show ended on a cliffhanger. I'm not gonna spoil it. And I was like, how like when you're binge watching something, whether it's Ozark. Now, if the season's already like 2 years old or whatever, and it's like, okay, well, I get that all of the episodes are there. But like when you're watching an Ozark, a Breaking Bad, and they leave you with a cliffhanger, and you can immediately indulge that sweet tooth, and you can get the resolution you're looking for. I didn't get that. I'm going to go get that as soon as we get done with this podcast and I get done editing and I can go watch the show. But if you too are a person who likes guns and military and spies and Navy SEALs and dudes with beards, I mean, hello, you're watching me and Jerry right now, a couple of dudes with beards. This could be for you. Could be for you. It's a show recommendation, Jerry. I like to throw in a little something different at the end.
That's fair. Listen, I'm glad you're excited for it. Reminds me of my Game of Thrones days. I know you were never a Game of Thrones guy, but good God, would I wait for that Sunday and that. Oh my God, I'm a
Sopranos the same way. Sopranos the same way. It's like we would get HBO and cancel HBO. Like we would like an HBO, like if you can go, I mean, I'm sure you can find the data out there. It's the information age. You throw it in the search engine, like how many people subscribe to HBO during a season of Sopranos versus when the series ended. And I bet you it spiked like close to 50%, which is crazy, which is absolutely, but it was that damn good. And I could see it being very similar for Game of Thrones. I'll hit you with one more out the door. I got Theo. Speaking of Theo, we started the show with Theo. We'll end the show with Theo. I got Theo hooked on this show. Now, mind you, I'm a little bit more country. Theo's one of them there, what we call, he's a city slicker, right? Strong Island. He's a New York native. Theo is from Strong Island. I got him hooked on Justified. It's an old FX show. FX went on a hell of a run there where they had the show Rescue Me. They had Sons of Anarchy. They had the one about spies in Russia. Not The Wire, but The Shield. So many great hour episodic shows, but my favorite was Justified, about a Kentucky U.S. Marshal. I love that show. If you like Walton Goggins from White Lotus.
Oh, love Walton Goggins.
This was Walton Goggins' breakout series. He played the bad guy that you couldn't help but love, Boyd Crowder. Check that out. This is going to be the format this year. We're going to go in. We're going to recap the week. We're going to talk about hits and misses. I did answer Danny's question because Danny's good people. He's in the YouTube chat. But if you want to start sit show, and you know how hard that is to say, not a start shit show. I mean, it might be both. I'm doing a live stream on Friday afternoons, 3:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with Johnny Tuma and Evan Ringler, and it's called Sleep, Stream, or Stash. And we give you each of the three. We give you two sleepers, players that you could plug into a DFS lineup or a fast draft lineup. We give you a couple of streamers, which you could stream in your seasonal leagues, right? You might want to stream a quarterback. You might want to stream a tight end. And we give you a couple of dynasty stashes. So it kind of serves, DFS, seasonal, dynasty, and then we save the last 15 to 20 minutes to answer questions from the YouTube chat. So that's why you subscribe, Player Profiler. You turn the notifications on. When you see us go live on Friday, hop in, because you might think, hey, I'll wait until the last 20 minutes to jump in and ask old Memphis Johnny and Evan a question. No. Jerry will tell you, I start, accumulating these things when the chat starts. And if we run out of time, we're out of time. But Jerry, we're out of time. We're out of time. So do you have any words of wisdom? Miner's patience. Have some patience this weekend. Have some patience from last weekend. And don't do anything dumb.
That's also very true. That is good advice. Don't overreact to the things you saw in week one, but also it's just a data point.
Jerry, I'm
a data point.
I'm going to wrap this whole podcast up on Navy SEALs and good advice. Normally, I only do the soundbite for good people, bad tweets, but I'm going to wrap this show up with some sound advice from a Navy SEAL named Jocko.
Here's the very powerful piece of advice that will help you much in life. The piece of advice is, don't do dumb shit.
Hey, I want to thank you for being part of this broadcast. If you have any thoughts on it, leave a comment. If you enjoyed it, make sure you leave a like. And if you want to see more shows on the Player Profiler channel, subscribe to it. That's how we know you want more.